Hi, so I am going to do this very brief video about how to use LinkedIn as a prospecting tool. So when I say that, what I mean specifically is LinkedIn is a really powerful networking tool. And the key to growing your resources, bringing in more money, finding new board members, advisory board members, partners, volunteers, however you want to expand your resources. The key is you have to expand your network. And so LinkedIn is a really powerful and easy tool to use for doing that. It's really great. So I'm going to walk through how you can use LinkedIn to really zero in on the folks in your network that you want to reach out to for which purposes. So this is a tool that you can use individually for yourself, right, to sort of filter through your own network for different purposes, to find donors, to find board members, et cetera. You can also have each of your board members do this. You can have your major donors do this. You can do this for your board or your major donors. I'm going to show you how to do that. You can do this for volunteers, anybody in your network whose network you would like to explore. So let's walk through what I mean. I am going to use me as a starting point, and then we'll branch off from there. So here I am on the home page of LinkedIn. So it's really simple. The first thing you do, and again, I'm going to use me, is you would go to the profile of the person who you want to research. So if you are not using yourself, you could, for example, I'll use my dad. You just type the person's name in there. You find their name and you click on it, and that is their profile. Okay. So you go to the profile of the person, and then you see here, it will show you their sort of number of connections. You just want to click on that, and that brings up their list of connections, people in their network. Then you just want to filter. And so you'd click on all filters here at the top. And you always want to search by first connections, because that means that these are the people that you know directly, that you are connected to. If you're searching on behalf of someone, their first connections are going to be the people that they are directly connected to. A second connection on LinkedIn means that they are connected through another person. But since we're trying to use this as a tool to identify who we and folks on our board, donors, et cetera, can reach out to directly, we want to stick with first connections. Some of the other filters, let's say I am looking for folks to join a board that I'm on, or to approach to talk about joining a board that I'm on, and it's in New York. So I could filter by location, click all of the New Yorks here. If it's a national board, let's say I want folks throughout the United States, I could click that there. But I'm going to stick with New York. Another way to use location, let's say I wanted to form an advisory council for an organization that I'm part of that is focused on programming in Brooklyn. I could use the filter there. I can also add a location. We want to have a strategic planning task force to help us explore how to expand out of New York into Boston, right? I could add a location and type Boston and click there. So that's how you can use that filter. You can also add filters by the companies that the person currently works at or has worked at. So if you have someone on your board that works for Chase Bank, for example, Warner Media, any company, any nonprofit, any institution, and you want to identify other people in that same institution or people that have been connected to that institution that might be interested in joining your board, that's how you would use that filter. You can also look by alumni. So let's say for this board, I'm really interested in folks that went to law school with me. I think they'd be particularly interested in the issues that the nonprofit board that I'm on is focused on. You can look by industry. If I want people who are practicing law, I can also look for people who are involved in philanthropy. Let's say for my search purposes, I'm not going to actually look by law school. Instead, I'm like, oh, I want to find people who are involved in legal services and philanthropy. They would be really great for this board. Usually I don't find profile language to be particularly helpful. Most of the organizations that I'm involved with have English as a primary language, although it could be really helpful if you're looking for board members that speak other languages or have connections to communities that speak other languages. That could be how you use that filter. And finally, you want to make sure that you click either joining a nonprofit board, this means they are open to that, or pro bono consulting and volunteering if that's what you're searching for. And then you want to show results. So here are 5 specific people that are either in law or philanthropy that are located in New York City and that are open to joining a board at this current time. So I could literally just scroll down each of these, do a little bit more research. I can message them directly. Now, let's say I wanted to look on behalf of one of my board members. We're going to reset. Let's say that, and again, I'm going to use my dad as an example, or actually I'll use my sister. So my sister's on my board and I want to find somebody that is connected to her so that I can show up at the next board meeting and say, hey, I've done some of this research for you. We're always looking for ways to expand our board. Guess what? Here are some people that have indicated that they're open to being on a board. Why don't we talk about how to approach them? So if I wanted to do that, again, I would navigate to the person's profile, and then I would click on their number of connections. And I can do the exact same thing on their behalf that I just showed you for me. So once you are at this list of all of their connections, you would just click all filters. Again, you want to stick to first connections, filter by first connections. And you see here, it shows me I am looking up connections of this person. Here, I am not particularly interested in location, but I am really interested in education, the field of education. So folks that are in her network that are in that field would be really helpful for our board, people who are open to joining a board. And then let's show results. Here's a great person to reach out to. So that's how you can use the filters to identify specific lists of people in your network, in your board's network, et cetera. A few ways to use this. We talked about expanding your board. You can also use this as a way to begin to zero in on potential donors and major donors. Once you are at the list of connections, you can scroll to a person's profile and see where they work. You can also see what boards they're on, experience that they've had, education that they've had, boards that they're on. Those are often indicators of their affinity for your issue and their ability to give. This is also a really great tool if you're interested in building out an advisory board. So not necessarily people to join your governance board, but people who are experts in particular issues. So you saw in the filter, you can choose education, you can choose law, you can also use keywords, young people, housing, whatever the specific issue is, and you can filter that way. And then finally, this is a really great way to build things like junior boards, or to find people who are interested in volunteering around particular things. So I'll actually just really quickly show you the volunteer filter. Because it's a slightly different box. So I'm using me again. We've gone to my connections. We've clicked all filters, first connections. And then I'm going to scroll down here to open to pro bono consulting and volunteering, which is both, those would be junior boards, advisory boards, and consulting and volunteering. And I'm really interested, say, in marketing. And then I would show results. So these would be people that I could reach out to. They haven't indicated an openness to joining a board, but they have indicated an openness to consulting and pro bono advising. And so I could reach out for those purposes. I would just click on the profile and I can see, what they're really good at, who else they're connected to, and activities that they've been engaged in. So that is a quick mini training on how to use LinkedIn as a prospecting tool. If you would like any more insight into this, you can contact me at Brooke at Richie-Babbage.com. Happy to walk through it some more.